Next up here on the Fantasy Flex is a segment we call Elite Entries, where Sean and I dive into the PrizePicks app and compare our player projections to the props to build some entries. For my first PrizePick Elite entry for week 12, I'm going with Chase Claypool over 45.5 receiving yards. Now, he's been over this in half of his games, but two of the ones he went under, he had exactly 45. So he's a yard away from being over in 75% of his games. He was still over this in 4 of his last 7, and he's averaging 65.8 receiving yards per game this year. So this prop is 20 points below his average. His median is a little lower, yes, but remember now Juju's out, and you look at Claypool and what he's been doing recently, and he's going down the field. Ben Roethlisberger has looked a little better, so I think Claypool, now that he's not injured, he's he missed a couple games. I think you're going to see a lot of games closer to his average. I still have him projected for about 60 yards against the Bengals, so I see quite a bit of value here on Chase Claypool. Sean, we're going for your second PrizePick lead entry for week 12.
I'm going with Jonathan Taylor over 75.5 rushing yards against the Buccaneers. And, a couple weeks ago, I was telling you, always bet on Jonathan Taylor's over against bad defenses. Well, I'm updating that now. Just always bet on Jonathan Taylor's over, no matter what. We saw him go for 184 rushing yards against the Bills defense last week. So, yes, Tampa Bay is a tough matchup when it comes to running backs, but you can't bet against Jonathan Taylor right now. And the Buccaneers could be without Vita Vea again this week, so I'll like Jonathan Taylor even more. And I think Taylor has benefited from, his offensive line. All 5 starters returned a couple weeks ago. Now, Quentin Nelson is questionable for this game, but I think he'll be able to gut it out and play. So just even more reason to like Jonathan Taylor now is his offensive line is back healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, I have this projected closer, above 90. So I'm right with you on that one. For my second PrizePick Elite entry for week 12, I'm going with Corey Davis over 44.5 receiving yards. I feel like lost in the Elijah Moore hype is the fact that Davis ran a route on 95% of the dropbacks last week. He's still the Jets, kind of their number one receiver in terms of their routes run. He's been over this in 5 out of 8 games, and you're going against the Houston Texans, zone defense that is not going to be, tough and not going to lock Davis up one-on-one. Davis has done well against zone coverage this season, and he is averaging 60 yards per game. So another one where this prop is way lower than his average. Corey Davis over 44.5. That is going to wrap it up for our PrizePick Elite entry for this week. As a recap, Sean is going Jonathan Taylor over 75.5 rushing yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going Chase Claypool over 45.5 receiving yards against the Cincinnati Bengals, and Corey Davis over 44.5 receiving yards against the Houston Texans. As a reminder, PrizePicks markets do move, so you want to get on it fast in order to lock in the best numbers. If you haven't created a PrizePicks account yet, check out the link in our episode description, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Or you can visit prizepicks.com and use the promo code ACTION10. That's ACTION 10.